Okay, I had to go take a stress test today for my upcoming surgery, and I got to film a lot of it. The different things they did, I asked them if I could film it, and a lot of it, they said yeah. And then the actual stress test, I couldn't film it. You'll know why in a little bit, but I'll go ahead and show what I was able to film now, and then I'll talk about what I couldn't.
Take a peek first. Just hold up this.
Now just keep it on my arm. When they took me to the emergency room, they took me by ambulance, and the paramedic was going to put an IV in me before I got to the hospital. Shoved it all the way through the vein, blew the vein.
Ooh,
Blood was running
painful.
all down inside my
I don't know how
arm.
they start those in the...
I don't either, because it's so bumpy.
I wouldn't be that job, yeah. It's hard enough just like this. Alright, here comes a poke.
Get it?
And around like this.
I don't know. YouTube channel, I can use it.
Oh, there you go. All right, so this is going to be right up against your left-sided chest. I'm going to rearrange your medallion so it doesn't get right in that middle of your chest there. Okay, so I want you to sit toward the left edge of the chair, so hip and shoulder right on the edge. Okay, and the left hand's going to come up on top of this. Slide this underneath your arm. It's going to be right up against your left-sided chest. Okay?
Okay.
Here we go.
What is this called?
So this is a nuclear gamma camera. So that tracer that Amanda gave you earlier is a nuclear medicine, and it emits something called a gamma ray, similar to like an X-ray, and then this machine just detects it. So the idea is that it circulates, it's going to kind of collect in that heart, so we can see the blood flow to the heart.
Okay, come on down here.
Yep, come on out. And then I'm going to put you back in the waiting room just briefly. They're just finish up somebody in front of you, they'll clean the room and come and get you.
Okay.
You want to free up all your goodies.
Okay, I am glad to be done with that. I have been here for hours. Let's go somewhere else. Okay, after all that, they put the IV in. I had to wait in waiting rooms 2 or 3 different times. Then I had to go have that heart scan thing. They put dye in my veins. And whatever that thing was you just saw, I had to have that done. And then they took me to the room where they were going to do the stress test. And I don't like to jog on a treadmill. I ain't dealing with it. So I always request the kind where they just shoot you up with like adrenaline and you just sit down and go for a ride without even moving. So I opted for that. And I was in there sitting down and 2 nurses came in. They were hooking up monitors that they were going to be looking at, and then the 3rd one came in and I recognized her and she recognized me. She said, "I know you, I did this for you before." I said, "Yeah, I remember." And she said, "I remember what you were wearing." I was wearing like really bedazzled big bell-bottom jeans that were high-waisted and a top, and when they have to put all those electrodes all over you, my jeans were too high and she couldn't get the electrodes there, so I had to unzip my pants and pull them down a little bit, and I was wearing pantyhose which were too high, so I had to fold those down over my jeans. And she said, "I remember what you were wearing." And I was like, "Yeah, you remember the trouble?" And she just laughed and said, "Yeah, I remember." So this time I thought I would wear a button-up dress so I could just unbutton it and they'd be able to get to wherever they needed to put the electrodes. And I didn't wear pantyhose because I didn't want to deal with that again, so I wore just lace-top stay-up stockings, no garter belt, and a pair of sheer black lace panties. And I thought, well, I won't have to put anything down. And she said, "Well, it looks like you're wearing better clothes for this time." And I said, "Well, I did my best." And she told me to stand up. So I did. And to put the electrodes on, she said, "Just go ahead and unbutton your top." So I did, and I'm only going to do it so far. So I'm unbuttoning my top. Oh, I took my belt off, because this thing is like really baggy without the belt, so I had to take the belt off, and I unbuttoned it down to here. And I thought, okay, that's about as far as I can go, and it's cut up to there. So she starts pulling it open, and she's sticking the electrodes on, reaching around the side. I can't open it the way she did. But she got to a point where I'm going to hold it. She was stretching it open to reach around to the sides to put the electrodes, and it was pulling the only button I had left, and it was pulling it, and she said, "I'm afraid I'm going to pull your button off. Why don't you just go ahead and unbutton it?" And I said, "Well, it's the last one." She said, "Oh, that's okay, don't worry about it." So I unbutton the last one, and she just opens it up. Let me button myself back up. There. That's better. But, so now I'm completely unbuttoned all the way down, and she's just opening up, reaching around my sides, sticking these things all over the place, and all I'm wearing are lace-top stockings and sheer panties, black panties, and I am fully open for view. And I'm like, oh, man, okay, it's okay. She asked for it. The other two nurses were doing their thing over on the other side of the room. They weren't paying any attention. But I was a nervous wreck. And then she had me, after she got all the little sticky pads on, she had me sit in a chair like this, but it had armrest, and my dress is just open, and she starts getting all the electric wires and starts hooking up all the wires everywhere, and I'm just hanging out there, and I don't tuck. But she didn't seem to care. And after they got all that hooked up, they injected me with like adrenaline to get my heart pumping. And I had to sit there, well, in total 10 minutes. 5 minutes with the drug going through me while the other two were monitoring it. And the one that recognized me that I knew from before was just sitting in a chair right here next to me, keeping an eye on me. And there was a lot to keep an eye on. But, so 10 minutes total, I was sitting there, dressed just fully open. And the biggest problem was, after about 2 minutes, little Jesse decided he wanted to wake up and play. And I was freaking out, because I'm sitting there, it's kind of like a recliner, you're laid back, and I just started growing and growing, and I didn't know what to do. There wasn't anything I could do. I'm sorry, I had to take a little break just thinking about it. But I'm sitting reclined back in this chair. Dress is completely open, and it was pretty fast that I was full-blown flagpole, and my panties were sheer, so there wasn't anything being hidden at all. And oh man, I was freaking out. And I looked at her, I was sitting there reclined, and I just looked over at her, and I know I had like total panic and fear in my eyes. And she just smiled and put her hand on my leg, like, you know, that was really going to help things. But she just put her hand on my leg, smiled at me, and said, "Oh, don't worry about it. I'm the only one that can see it. Don't worry about it." And I'm like, wow, I just want to leave. But after that, when they were done with the 5 minutes, then I had to sit there another 5 minutes so that they could monitor if I was going to be okay to get up and leave. And it was a day. It was a day. Their wiener was arising and made a complete full tent in my panties. Absolutely embarrassing. Just really embarrassing. But when that was over, then she had me stand back up, opened me up again, pulled all the leads off, and took all the little electrodes off, and said, "Well, at least this time you wore something that I could get to." And I was like, I'm sorry, I'm really sorry. She said, "Don't be sorry, it made it a lot easier." I'm like, on who? But obviously I couldn't film that. When she came in, I said, "Is there any part of this I can film?" And she said, "You're probably not going to want to, because you're going to be a little bit too exposed." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I didn't film that, and I couldn't have showed it if I did. But, and after I left there, I had to go shopping, because Now I have to go to the urologist and get the old pull the wiener, turn your head and cough and play with the dingleberries and stuff. And I know I can't wear pantyhose to that either. And I needed to go to the store and get some more stockings. So I wouldn't, the only thing I'll have to do is pull my skirt down and pull my panties down. I won't have to mess with the pantyhose. So I had to go to Dillard's to get some more stockings, which I don't usually wear too often. I'm a pantyhose girl. But that'll be on the next video that I show. But it was an exciting day. Bye, guys.